Dan Jurgens and Cully Hamner pit Booster Gold and Blue Beetle against the intergalactic princess Omnizon, who arrives on Earth looking to take over the planet as its supposedly rightful leader. Dan Jurgens opens up the alien invasion subplot for Blue and Gold as his new character Omnizon arrives on Earth to battle Booster and Blue Beetle. As I said in my previous review for the series, I think that this type of subplot for the book wasn't something that was needed. The book could have just been about the heroes trying to set up this new company and comically bungling their way through all of the stuff that comes with stuff like that, like having to deal with taxes and giving government the money and hiring assistants and stuff like that. We do get a little bit of that thanks to Ted losing his money and company, which does lead to some really cool concept of the heroes making the company community funded, something which is quite interesting, but it kind of ties itself off in a neat bow, which I didn't particularly like with the reintroduction of Trixie Collins, thanks to her just coming in at sort of the last moment and saying, hey, we don't need any of this sort of stuff, I've got offices for you that you can have for free and everything. It kind of took the flame out of them having to deal with all this sort of stuff and struggling to set something up. The great live stream aspect continues, but Dan also begins adding in huge crowds just chattering constantly in the background, which was a little annoying as these fights were going down, since it was a constant along with the live stream comment section, so it was a bit too much happening on the page at once. Cully Hamner joins the book as artist for some really fun action set pieces that had some really fantastic detail to them. I love his use of the live stream aspect and how a few pages the comments made the background of the scene and what the characters were kind of standing on, kind of like that was all that was on the characters' minds at some point. That was quite interesting. Blue and Gold issue 3 begins the rather unneeded alien invasion story in a decent way, continuing to build off the superhero company idea and introduce some more really interesting ideas for their journey to become famous superheroes. I'm going to give this issue a 7.5 out of 10. Blue and Gold issue 3 finds Omnizon arrive at the UN, told that the flags there symbolize Earth's nations and the ruling class governments behind them. This angers the princess, who cuts the flags down and proclaims that she is the only ruler of Earth. She puts down a small device, telling people that Earth is part of her realm and all of them are her subjects. A power explodes from the stone she put down as she demands the people acknowledge her. Booster Gold, meanwhile, has been ousted from his work building since he can't pay the rent, as his friends all tell the landlord to let him in. He reminds the man that he was in the Justice League, but the guard knows that it was during the more inferior days of the League. Michael puts this down to just a glitch in the accounting, knowing that the money is on its way, but the man doesn't care, knowing that Booster is wasting his time. Skeets tells Michael his newest comments have all been pretty negative because of this, since Skeets has been live streaming what was meant to be the big move-in day. Michael reassures the people that they will get this fixed as he rushes off, not wanting to see any of the comments. Ted, meanwhile, finds Booster calling him, pretending he forgot to bring the check to their new offices, but Michael knows that he didn't forget, wanting him to hand over some of his cord money. Ted decides it's time to come clean, but before he can do that, Michael sees an energy beam from the princess at the UN a few blocks away. Booster rushes downtown, telling the people who want him to do their multiple podcasts that they need to talk to his agent. The people stop him though, knowing that he's from the future, so they want stock tips and who's going to win the next World Series from him. Michael and Skeets give up nothing, and the people call them all grifters. Booster suits up and flies towards the beam, knowing that they are going to put on a show here as Omnizon wants Earth's decision makers found and brought to her. Inside the UN, the diplomats are all grabbed by the energy, dragged outside to where they are told to surrender to the woman or die. Booster confronts the princess, who recognizes Booster as the man who stopped her from kidnapping the Justice League recently. Omnizon says that the League objected to her establishment of the throne on Earth, wondering if Booster allies with them. Booster introduces himself as the savior of the multiverse and protector of the time stream, but Omnizon has never even heard of him. Booster attacks, blasting her and asking about the light show she's putting on, knowing it does get attention but not much else. Omnizon reveals that it's a signal of her presence projected across the galaxy and the people of Earth must pay tribute. Booster knows that that won't happen, being that no one actually speaks for the world, seeing as there are over 200 countries in the UN. Omnizon shifts her focus, knowing that Booster will bring her one who can talk for them all and surrender their armies and weapons. Booster tells the woman that they aren't her subjects and he does things his way and always will. Omnizon attacks, saying that Earth is part of the Behel-Moore system and it answers to her, so when she says kneel, they will do so. Blue Beetle arrives, blaming New York traffic for his late arrival. He uses his compressed air gun on the alien, but it does little to her as Booster wonders if she was telling the truth and is a real alien princess, but Beetle knows that they have hung around with many gods and bizarre life forms, and isn't about to call her a liar on that. The villain attacks, knowing that the Beetle is at least intelligent while Booster talks too much. She knocks Booster down and Beetle uses the distraction to kick the princess in the face, telling her they won't obey her rule. She tells Booster if he moves, she will kill Beetle as the hero activates his belt, summoning something from the back of the buggy. The ball-shaped drone tells the princess to unhand Beetle, but when she doesn't, it vaporizes the woman. Booster is shocked his partner just killed someone, knowing despite his problems, even Skeets wouldn't do that. Beetle reveals his drone is called Buggles, and it's not Booster's sidekick like him, it's an asset of the team, wanting to talk about all of this away from the thousands of people that have begun to gather. The heroes cut the stream and talk by the car, with Beetle revealing that he is broke and Cord Industries fired him and took access to his fund away from him. He knows that he can't fix Bug, which is why he salvaged what he could to make smaller things like the buggy and Buggles. Booster thinks they look like fools thanks to his announcement, knowing his life is nothing but failures. Trixie Collins arrives, however, saying that she wants to help them. Trixie says she goes by Terry these days as she is reunited with Booster, who is glad to see her again. Terry says that she's known Michael since the minute he came back from the future, desperate for a place to crash, and while they lost track of each other here and there, she still believes in him and wants to help them help people. Terry reveals that she owns a building with some space for them and it's theirs if they want it, although they'll be sharing space with their yoga class. Booster is more than happy to accept, but tells her that they don't have any money for the rent, but Skeets reminds them that they have fans. Ted knows that they could always crowdsource this company and the people can be heroes too by contributing to their mission. The crowd are happy to help as Booster confronts Ted about killing Omnizon. Ted, however, reveals that appearances can be deceiving and Buggles didn't vaporize her. She was teleported to a Louisiana swamp. He knew they couldn't deal with a villain with so many people around and in the middle of a big city, which is why he equipped Buggles with a teleportation beam, which he might have borrowed from the Justice League tech department. Omnizon arrives in the swamp she was teleported to, angered at the two heroes, knowing that she will have her revenge and wear their skulls as tributes to her victories.